My name is Christine Spagnoli. I'm a partner at Broillet Wheeler. I'm known as the cars and tires lawyer. I have spent the last 20 years focused on automotive product liability defect cases and defective tire cases. I was a political science major, and I became an assistant deputy in a local district office for a state legislator, right in downtown LA. We were taking people, bringing them in, they would tell us about their issue, and we would try and figure out how to solve it. And that was something I really enjoyed doing, especially when these are people who otherwise didn't have an advocate for them. I had a friend who said, "Well, I'm thinking about going to law school at night. Do you want to come with me?" And I said, "Sure, that sounds like something that I might be interested in." My biggest difficulty in getting a job as a lawyer was I needed a full-time job because I was putting myself through law school at night. There were 3 law firms that were interviewing for full-time law clerks. It turned out Broillet Wheeler was literally a few blocks from law school, and I was fortunate enough to meet Bruce Broillet. In my first 3 or 4 years, I worked just with Bruce on his cases, and I got to see him, and I got to talk with him about how he was making decisions on things to do in cases as they were progressing. It's so hard coming out of law school now to find a spot where you can do the things you want to do. If you want to be a plaintiff's lawyer, it's hard because most of the firms are really small. They're made up of 1 or 2 or 3 lawyers who've known each other a while, and I think younger lawyers find that's what they're facing, that it's very hard to get in to an established firm. It takes a couple years and a trial or 2 for you to really see where you're good and where you're bad. There's such a learning curve to trying a case and doing a good job at it and hitting your stride. The trial lawyer who I think is most successful is the person who's lived the case. Do you become the trial lawyer who gets the handoff from somebody else who's done the work on the case? Or are you the lawyer who's going to do the work on the case and then talk to the jury about it, as opposed to bringing in somebody else? I want to go do the depositions myself. I want to see who those witnesses are. I want to hear how they react to questions. I do dig in, and I know the details, and I can tell when someone's bluffing. I know I can evaluate whether the defense is up to speed or not and take advantage of the situation if they're not as prepared as I am. Back when I was starting out and I was working on a case, the opposing counsel was a male lawyer, rather gruff, trying to knock me off my game. We would go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. At the end of that case, he says to Brown, "Well, you know, she was really tough and she never cried." And I knew the whole time the purpose of this was to get me to cry and be frustrated and give up. And you just have to bite your tongue. You have to hold your breath. You have to not give up and just be persistent. It's a difficult dilemma if you're a younger lawyer and you got to pay the bills and you have a really good case, but you're finding that the offers are not where they should be because you're not respected and you're not being taken seriously. It can benefit you and your client to team up with somebody else who can come in and either help you get the case settled for more than they would otherwise pay, or go try the case together. The cases that get tried are the cases where someone has misevaluated the case. Either the defense lawyer has misevaluated it and has not offered anything meaningful to attract the interest of the plaintiff and is taking the risk to try the case, or the plaintiff's lawyer has an offer that is reasonable and should be considered, but has misevaluated the opportunity to get a much bigger verdict. The cases that I've tried have typically been cases where the offers have just been ridiculously low or even missing completely, or no offer. I've at least got a chance of winning the case, and I'm not risking my client walking away with nothing because there's no offer. And I've tried cases with no offer, and I've won some and I've lost some. But those are easy for me. There's no pressure there. The pressure comes when there is a real offer. Plaintiffs' lawyers that I know that are involved in CALA or Consumer Attorneys of California want to help. We share information, we provide support and guidance. Lawyers who are starting out have to get involved in Consumer Attorneys of California, Consumer Attorneys of Los Angeles, because number one, you're going to meet people, you're going to network, but you're also going to get plugged in to what's happening in the political arena that could affect your clients' cases and your practice. Being a plaintiff's lawyer isn't just about your cases, it's about also what's going on in the political world, who's on the Supreme Court, what legislation is being considered that might take away clients' rights, arbitration clauses, caps on damages. The kinds of things that are going on in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. have an impact on our cases. When you're starting out as a young lawyer and you're gung-ho and you're going to win your cases, it's really easy to be overly aggressive and to fight fights that you don't necessarily need to fight. Take care of yourself. Be good, kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. Don't, pile too much on, because it's you'll be doing this for a long time, hopefully. And you don't want to wake up 30 years from now and say, oh man, it's been really hard. I love the challenge. I love the feeling of accomplishment. It's not about getting the award or the recognition. It's about, at the end of the day, having clients whose lives are better off because I was able to help them. They couldn't have done without having the lawsuit and the compensation that they obtained because they were wrongly injured.
Sometimes I go too far with a witness, or I let my emotions or anger get the best of me, or I haven't spent the right amount of time with a client. So I'm not perfect. I learn through the pain of failure just like everybody else does. And the other thing I'd tell people starting out or who've done it for a while but want to get better at it, or they've worked as a lawyer but they've never really tried a case, is be willing to fail. You have to take that risk. The risk of being rejected and the risk of falling down flat on your face and getting stomped on.